I'm obsessed with the fact that President Trump apparently missed the day they taught World War II in school. Last night in Montana, less than a week before the NATO summit, the President of the United States of America treated Europe like a freeloading parasite, not like the friend of our European allies have been for more than 70 years, since, that World War II thing happened. Here's the President last night. You heard a little of it earlier on EU countries doing business with Russia.
They want to protect against Russia, yet they pay billions of dollars to Russia, and we're the schmucks that are paying for the whole thing.
Schmucks. How about a quick recap of the day in school the president may have missed? This is what Berlin looked like at the end of World War II. This is what Hiroshima looked like, by the way. This is what parts of London look like. Somewhere between 50 and 80 million people died. And after the war, the eastern half of Europe was trapped behind a communist iron curtain that didn't come down for more than 40 years. NATO and our European alliances were designed to prevent that from happening again, ever. And you know what? For 70 years, it worked. Does President Trump understand this? The New York Times reported last July that Defense Secretary Jim Mattis, then Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, invited Mr. Trump and 20 others to a meeting at the Pentagon. There they explained to him the importance of maintaining the post-war, that's World War II, by the way, when they say post-war, the post-war international order. According to the Times, Mattis said the following, quote, "The greatest gift the greatest generation left us was the rules-based post-war international order." Mattis went on to outline the military side of our alliance structures and was followed by Tillerson, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, and Gary Cohn, Trump's chief economic advisor. So Trump listened in silence for a whole hour. When he finally spoke up, the attendee told the author of this article, his first words were, "This is exactly what I don't want." Please, Mr. President, grab a book on your shelf about World War II. Don't be frightened by the cracking sound it makes when you open it. And acquaint and reacquaint yourself with what happened then and how much the United States and our allies have done to preserve post-war peace. By the way, grab the Cliff Notes of World War I if you could, too. They sort of help get you into the World War II story. We'd all feel a lot better if you did. Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.